Lawyer warning. If a police officer pulls you over and asks, "Do you have any weapons in the vehicle?" never answer that question until you say these 3 words exactly. Most gun owners get this completely wrong. They panic. They blurt out yes, they offer up their permit. They think honesty will save them. It does not. That one answer can turn a routine traffic stop into a full search of your car, your trunk, your phone, and every bag in reach. I'm going to tell you exactly what those 3 words are, when to say them, how to say them, and why they protect you under real United States law. Stay with me until the end because this one decision could be the difference between walking away free and losing your gun, your permit, your money, or even your freedom. This is general legal information, not legal advice for your case. Laws differ in every state. Always confirm the rules where you live. Here's the situation that gets gun owners in trouble over and over again. You are driving home. Maybe you stopped at the store. Maybe you are coming back from the range. A police cruiser lights up behind you. You pull over. You turn off the engine. You roll down the window partway because it is cold or raining or you just do not trust strangers. The officer walks up to the window. He shines a flashlight in. He asks for your license and registration. You hand them over. Then he asks the question, do you have any weapons in the car? Your heart beats faster. You have a pistol in the center console. You have another in the trunk, maybe a knife on your hip. You have a permit. You are a law-abiding citizen. So you answer, yes, officer, I have a permit. It is right here in my wallet. That feels like the right thing to say. It is the worst thing you can say. The moment you admit there is a weapon in the car, you have just helped the officer build a reason to search further. He can claim he smells marijuana. He can claim he saw an open container. He can claim his partner saw something in the back seat. You just made his job easier and your life harder. Your honesty did not protect you. It exposed you. Stop right here. What I am about to say next is the most important part of this entire video. Forget everything you have been taught about being polite. Forget the instinct to over-explain. Forget wanting the officer to like you. None of that protects you. What protects you is saying 3 specific words and then going silent. Say these words with me. I do not consent to a search. Say them again. I do not consent to a search. Say them a 3rd time so they are burned into your brain. I do not consent to a search. Those 3 words are your shield. They create a legal wall between you and the officer. They force the officer to make a choice. He can respect your constitutional right and find a different reason to search, or he can search anyway and break the law. If he searches anyway, that illegal search can become your best defense in court. If he respects it, you just stopped a search that could have ruined your day, your week, or your year. Now let me tell you exactly how to use those 3 words in real life. When the officer asks, do you have any weapons in the vehicle? Do not answer that question directly. Instead, in a calm voice, say the words your state requires. If it is a stop and identify state, then add, Officer, I do not consent to a search. If your state does not require you to answer questions during a traffic stop, simply answer the basic identification questions like your full legal name and your address, and then add, I do not consent to any search of my vehicle or my property. Then stop talking. Do not explain why. Do not say you have nothing to hide. That phrase is a trap. Do not say you are a law-abiding citizen. That phrase sounds cooperative, but it gives the officer a reason to keep digging. Do not say you would never do anything wrong. Officers hear that every day. It invites more questions. Just say the 3 words and stop. Hand over your license, your registration, and your proof of insurance when asked. That is it. Calm, clear, firm, not hostile, not sarcastic, not loud. Just 3 words and silence. Here's why those 3 words are real legal protection and not just advice. The 4th Amendment to the United States Constitution says you have the right to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizures. That phrase is short, but it changes everything. A search is unreasonable if the officer does not have probable cause and does not have your consent. Probable cause is a real legal standard. It means the officer has specific facts that would make a reasonable person believe a crime has been committed or that evidence of a crime is in the car. A broken taillight is not probable cause. Speeding 5 miles over the limit is not probable cause. The smell of marijuana claimed after the officer leaned in with his face 2 inches from your window is questionable probable cause and has been thrown out in courtrooms across America. Admitting you have a gun is also not probable cause by itself. The Supreme Court has said clearly that the government cannot search your car just because you answered a question honestly. Your silence and your refusal to consent are protected rights, not signs of guilt. Let me walk you through the real cases that back this up. The first is Pennsylvania versus Mims from 1977. In that case, the Supreme Court ruled that an officer can order the driver out of the car once the car has been lawfully stopped. That is real. Officers have that power. You must step out if asked. But Mims did not give the officer the power to search. It only gave the officer the power to control the scene for safety. The second case is Knowles versus Iowa from 1998. In that case, the Supreme Court ruled that an officer cannot search a car just because he decided to give the driver a ticket instead of a warning. A ticket is not a search warrant. The third case is Florida versus Bostic from 1991. In that case, the court made clear that consent to a search must be truly voluntary. If the officer pressures you or implies that cooperation is required, that consent is not valid. When you say, "I do not consent to a search," you are making the voluntariness question obvious. The officer now knows you did not freely agree. The fourth case is Miranda versus Arizona from 1966. Under Miranda, you have the right to remain silent anytime you are in police custody and being questioned. A routine traffic stop is not always custody, but you still have a constitutional right under the Fifth Amendment not to answer questions that could incriminate you. Admitting to a weapon when your state does not require it can be a problem if that weapon is unregistered, carried in the wrong place, or part of a larger legal issue. Silence is safety. Now let me be honest with you about what not to say, because this is where most gun owners destroy their own case. Do not say, "Yes, officer, I have a permit, here it is." That hands the officer a paper that says you have a weapon in the car. Once he reads the permit, he knows the location, the caliber, and sometimes even the serial number. He now can match that to anything he wants to match it to. Do not say, "I have nothing to hide, go ahead and look." That is a full consent to a search. Anything the officer finds after that statement is on you, even if it is not yours. Do not say, "I would never do anything illegal." That is an open invitation for the officer to prove you wrong. Do not say, "You will not find anything because I keep my car clean." The officer has heard that promise 10,000 times. It means nothing. Do not reach for your weapon or your wallet without telling the officer first. Any sudden movement toward a known weapon is the single fastest way to turn a traffic stop into a use of force situation. Always keep both hands on the wheel. Always announce every movement. Say, "My license is in my glove box. Is it okay if I reach for it?" Say, "My permit is in my wallet. May I get it slowly?" The officer says yes or no. You follow the answer. Now let me tell you what the officer actually wants when he asks that weapons question. Most officers will tell you they ask that question for officer safety. They want to know if there is a gun in the car so they do not get surprised by one. That is a real concern. But here is what they do not tell you. You are not legally required in most states to answer that question. Some states require you to disclose if you are carrying. Some states do not. Some states require disclosure only if you are asked. Some states require disclosure only if you have a permit. The rules are a patchwork. If you do not know the rule in your state, the safest answer in a non-disclosure state is the 3 words plus silence. In a disclosure state, you must answer truthfully. Know your state. That is why I am going to walk you through state variations next. Let me give you the real picture on state law, because this is where most videos fail and most gun owners get confused. As of this year, more than half of the United States allows some form of permitless carry, also called constitutional carry, for at least some firearms. That means a law-abiding adult can carry a handgun without a permit in those states. States like Florida, Texas, Arizona, Georgia, and many others have moved in this direction in recent years. The other half of the country still requires a permit to carry, and a smaller group of states have very strict rules about who can carry and where. This is not a federal rule, it is state by state. So when you see a headline that says permits are over, that headline is usually about one state, not the country. Do not trust any video that tells you the federal government just ended permits, because no such national rule exists. Now here are the 3 patterns you need to know. The first pattern is the duty to disclose state. In some of these states, if you are carrying a weapon, you must tell the officer. You must hand over your permit. The law says you do this. If you lie, you have committed a new crime. The second pattern is the no duty to disclose state. In these states, you do not have to tell the officer you are carrying. You can simply say the 3 words and stop. Most permitless carry states fall into this group. The third pattern is the stop and identify state. In states like Florida, Texas, and others, when you are lawfully detained, you must give your name. You do not have to answer every other question. You do not have to consent to a search. You must identify. In the non-stop and identify states, you do not even have to give your name during a routine traffic stop in many cases, because you are handing the officer your driver's license and that already identifies you. Know your state. Write your state name on a piece of paper right now. Search online for your state carry laws and your state stop and identify laws. The rule in Texas is not the rule in New York. The rule in Florida is not the rule in California. This is not a one-size-fits-all country. Now let me cover special situations, because every traffic stop is not the same. If you have a child in the car, the encounter is automatically more stressful for the officer. Do everything you can to keep your hands visible. Tell the officer there is a child in the back seat right when he approaches. Say, "Officer, I have a 2-year-old in a car seat in the back." That single sentence changes the dynamic. The officer will move slower. The officer will be more careful. If you have a passenger, the rules are slightly different. The passenger generally does not have to identify themselves unless the officer has reasonable suspicion that the passenger committed a crime. The Supreme Court said this in Maryland versus Wilson in 1998. Passengers can be ordered out of the car, passengers can have their ID requested, but passengers are not automatically required to answer every question. If you are asked to step out of the car, step out. Pennsylvania versus Mims makes that legal. Once out, keep your hands visible. Do not reach for anything. Do not consent to a pat-down unless the officer has a specific reason. The Fourth Amendment still protects your body, just like it protects your car. If you're asked for ID, you must provide it in every state. Your driver's license is already a form of ID. Hand it over when asked. If you are asked where you are coming from or where you are going, you do not have to answer beyond the most basic facts. You can say, I am coming from a friend's house. That is usually enough. You do not have to say which friend. If you want to record the encounter, you have that right. Mount your phone on the dashboard before the officer arrives. Hit record. Do not hold the phone up in the officer's face. Do not interfere. Just record. That video could be your best witness if anything goes wrong. Let me give you a question I get constantly. What if I have a weapon in the car and I am in a permitless carry state, but I am crossing into a permit-required state on the same trip? This is one of the most dangerous situations in American gun law today. The rules change at the state line. The moment you cross from Florida into New York, for example, your legal status changes. If you have a handgun in the car and you do not have a New York permit, you can be arrested, even if you are just passing through. If you travel with firearms, you must know the laws of every state on your route. The National Association of State Firearms Laws website tracks these rules. Download the information before you drive. Do not rely on what your friend told you. Do not rely on what someone said online. Know the law. Now here is the 5-step action plan you can use on your next traffic stop or you can teach your family member to use. Step 1. Before you drive, know your state. Check whether your state is a permitless carry state, a permit-required state, or a may-issue state. Step 2. Before you drive, know if your state requires you to disclose a weapon to an officer. Print the rule. Keep it in your wallet. Step 3. The moment you see the lights, pull over safely, turn off the engine, place both hands on the wheel, roll down the window. Do not reach for anything until the officer is at the window and you have told him what you are doing. Step 4. When asked about weapons, say the words your state requires. If your state does not require you to answer, say the 3 magic words instead. Officer, I do not consent to a search, then stop talking. Step 5, comply with every legal order. Hand over your license, registration, and insurance. Step out if asked. Sign the ticket if asked. Refuse only the search, not the lawful commands. Those 5 steps are your safety plan. They work in every state with small adjustments. Let me tell you what happens if you do not act on this information. Every year, hundreds of thousands of Americans are stopped while carrying a firearm. A meaningful percentage of those stops end in a search because the driver answered the weapons question honestly and casually. A meaningful percentage of those searches turn up something unrelated that then becomes a separate criminal case. A pill bottle without a label. A small amount of marijuana in a state where it is still illegal. A receipt for a purchase that was later stolen. A friend's bag in the back seat. The honest answer did not save them. The silent refusal would have. Every gun owner who has lost a weapon, lost a permit, or spent tens of thousands of dollars on a lawyer defense could have avoided most of that pain with 3 words. Knowledge is not just power. Knowledge is protection. Now let me close with the 4 things I want you to remember. The first is the 3 words. I do not consent to a search. Write those 3 words down right now. Put them in your wallet. Put them in your phone. Tell your spouse. Tell your brother. Tell your hunting partner. Second, know your state. If you carry, you must know whether your state is permitless carry, permit required, stop and identify, or no identify. The rule where you live is the rule that controls. Third, never reach. Every sudden movement toward a weapon is a risk you do not need to take. Always announce. Always wait for permission. Always keep your hands visible. Fourth, record when you can. Your phone is your best witness. Mount it, hit record, and let it run. The best thing you can do right now is send this video to one person you love who carries a gun or who drives through states with different gun laws. That one share could protect them from losing their weapon, their permit, their money, or their freedom in a single bad traffic stop. Most people never learn these 3 words until it is too late. You just learned them. Now make sure they know them too. If you are not subscribed yet, do that right now and hit the bell. Court decisions are coming down almost every week that change how gun owners are treated during traffic stops. The moment a major ruling drops, I will break down exactly what it means for you in plain English, with the exact words to say. That is what this channel is here for. Go check your wallet right now. Make sure you can write down your state's carry rule and your state's stop and identify rule without looking it up. Knowledge is your best protection. The government hopes you never learn these rights. Now you know, use them. Remember one thing from this video. The 3 words are, I do not consent to a search. That is all you need to remember. Everything else was just the explanation. But those 3 words could save your rights someday. Share this. Protect the people you love.